coupled with this system mentality is you have to quantify what the success is, right? And you have to, it comes back to that quote I said during the intro, what's measured improves, right? I think like Peter Drucker or somebody said.
Well, yeah, the way I always heard that, and it's a little different, and so I kind of like both of these phrases, and I don't know which one he said, or maybe he said both.
Sure.
But is, that which is monitored is managed. Yep. And
that's good. It's great.
They both basically say the same thing, but with a slightly different emphasis, right? And I'd never heard what's measured improves before. When I read it as we were kind of preparing for the show, I was like, oh, that's interesting, because that defines a successful outcome. I like this.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
And you're tricking you're hacking your brain into saying, well, if I'm measuring it, then therefore it will improve.
Get better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Yeah. Because it gives you a guide, and you need that. You and your people that work for you, your employees, your team, your contractors, whoever, they need that guide as well, because you can't go say, well, you didn't achieve what we wanted if they don't know. Right. You have to be able to measure it. And, some things are really easy to measure, more sales, more shipments, fewer returns, fewer mistakes, whatever, more customers. Sure. Those are easy. But I think you can, if you sit down, you can quantify other things as well. Things like, how many conversations did we have to solve a customer customer issue? How much was it escalated? How many times? How long does it take for a customer to place an order? Clicks, how many calls, whatever. And how long are your customer service calls on average? Can you set up a system to get those? Can we continue to drop those? Can we keep people from calling? Can we, did we answer it via our CRM software? Whatever. You want to quantify those things throughout your organization, and you want to push that system of, whatever we're going to measure is going to get better.
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit here.
Yeah,
just to dig into this. So I like this, right? But there's two things that you as a manager need to get right, or eventually get right. Like it's everything's a process, including yours, right? One of them is figuring out how granular is the right amount of granularity, right? Like you just listed a lot of things that could be seen as nitpicky, right?
Yeah, maybe you don't need to track those, right? That's a good point.
But some level of that is exactly what you're going to need to do in order to change the system from, I worked 8 hours, therefore I succeeded, right? Like you need to have some level of granularity, and like you said, some KPIs that you can measure. So I like this. For your business, it's going to be different, and some businesses are going to be a lot more granular or appear to be a lot more granular than others. That's okay. The other thing, but be aware of that you're going to have to, you are going to define that for your business, or at least you need to listen to your business to figure out what that definition is.
But hopefully you can automate a lot of this.
Yeah, right.
All of it, right? Because your phone system should track the length of time. You should be able to, with technology and automation, a lot of these things which would drive you absolutely insane trying to track should happen automatically.
That's fair. That's fair. But you could get data overload, right? Like the flip side of that is true. Like I'm sure your phone system tracks a lot of things. Which of those things are the ones that you're going to focus on, and what are noise for your business, right? And so you have to sit down, and you can do this with your team. You can say, okay, look, here's 15 things, the data points that we get from the phone system. Which ones do we think really matter to our business? And this is a nice way to do it, because you get buy-in at the end of this process too, right? So, figuring that out with your team and evolving is great, because they're going to see things you don't too, right? So this is, that's one way to go. The other part of the devil's advocate in me is, if you have too many things, or even if you just have one thing that you're looking at, but you're probably going to have, let's say, 5. Where is the number that you celebrate, right? I know we talk about, goals are for losers and systems are better than goals, but goals, milestones are important, right?
Yes, I would agree.
And so you have to come up with, where that is, because otherwise you're just chasing something that you never achieve. And that, with the wrong people or the wrong culture, can be numbing after a while.
That's right. You can't grind it down to where it's all data and you don't care about anybody. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Just like you can't hand this stuff down from on high and think it's going to be embraced by everybody. You have to get everybody involved in this.
Yeah.
Very important to point out. And there will be some things you're going to be like, you know what? This works well enough for us. Let's not track this, or let's check in quarterly with it instead of monthly or weekly, right? Because we've set up this system and it seems to be working well. We're not getting complaints. I mean, maybe, things should bubble up a bit before you have to measure them. It's like, wow, we're getting customers, people are on the hold for X, or those customer service calls are taking a lot longer since we started selling this product or whatever.
Sure.
I guess what I'm trying to get across is you can measure, set quantifiable measurements for most things in your business. And it's a very important process for people to understand, how are we going to define success? And you can't, you can't grind people into dust trying to get seconds out of it, but you can measure, hey, how are we doing? Is it great? Hey, that's terrific.